all of the responsibilities are on me, and I can't get into my property. There's a leak in the property. The water bill is escalating. I can't get in there to see what's going on.
A D.C. homeowner claiming an Airbnb guest has overstayed their welcome and will not leave. In this story you'll only see on 7 News, we're digging into D.C. law, finding out there's not much that homeowner can do. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley spoke with the homeowner and tried to speak with the alleged squatter.
The alleged squatter originally got into the home through Airbnb, claiming that her apartment caught fire and it needed time to get repairs. Now that was back in February. Roshane Douglas says she didn't know she was opening her life up to a nightmare when she accepted Shadija Romero's Airbnb reservation almost 10 months ago. That reservation ended March 29th after 32 days, and Romero hasn't paid another dime. But living in the home for over a month apparently lets her claim some form of tenant rights, and she refuses to let Roshane enter the property.
I never gave her any tenancy. I never gave her a lease.
Roshane tried everything, gave her a 30-day notice to vacate, called police, went to court, and even offered Romero $2,500 to sign a paper admitting she's not a tenant and to get out. Romero signed the document but didn't budge.
November the 15th came and she told me, this no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order, and they said there's nothing that they can do, that I need to go to court, which I've done, and I do not have a court date until December the 11th.
Roshane put this sign up on her home so police and neighbors would know Romero was not authorized to be there. A sign Romero covered with a sheet.
I need police assistance.
I was there when police helped Roshane cut it down, while Romero hid inside.
It's shocking to me that you would abuse a system like that.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best life on trips. Cartwheel. And promoting her nonprofit. And Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees, the mortgage, and utilities for a home she can't even enter. I tried to get some answers from Romero, who was clearly inside the home, but she never came to the door. When a person walked out to her car, they didn't want to talk to us either. Roshane is waiting now for her court date next week, where she's hoping the judge's decision will allow U.S. Marshals to force her unwanted guest out once and for all. For now, reporting from Northeast D.C., Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
7 News has been reporting on reforms to rental housing laws in the district. Back in September, City Council passed the Rental Act. Supporters of the legislation say D.C. landlords lost more than $1 billion in unpaid rent since eviction moratoriums were lifted in 2021. The measure simplifies the eviction process and allows landlords to remove tenants who violate their leases by not paying rent. Those against the act say it takes away protections for tenants. Our investigative reporter John Barr has been following the Rental Act. You could read what's in that measure right now on WJLA.com.
7 News reporting on Loudoun County schools is going viral, seen more than 1 million times on social media and generating thousands of comments. And 7 News was the first to tell you about Loudoun County Public Schools suspending 2 boys who asked why there was a girl in the boys' locker room and expressed their discomfort. Nick Monarch is joining us now with what people are saying here, Nick.
Yeah, as you said, 7 News' reporting has been seen hundreds of thousands of times, and the overwhelming reaction to this story is outrage that LCPS would suspend boys for 10 days for saying they are uncomfortable with a biologically female student in the boys' locker room. A handful of others are supportive of LCPS's decision. However, 2 key decision makers are weighing in as well. The Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the DOJ noticed our story and posted this on X. She said this is very wrong and it will not stand. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears, who is running for governor, is also weighing in on the boys' punishment and LCPS's bathroom and locker room policies.
It's ludicrous. What about this, Nick, says to you, boys are not comfortable undressing in front of nude girls in the same locker room in spaces that they were not normally have access to. The boys are saying this, and the boys who should be applauded are not being applauded. Instead, they're being punished for something that's common sense. You know, for me, biological differences do matter. It's not political, Nick. It's common sense. And it's parental rights, really. So I'm speaking for parents and families all across Virginia. This is nonsense.
7 News reached out to Democratic gubernatorial candidate Abigail Spanberger's team yesterday after we broke the news, and again today, about LCPS's discipline. Spanberger's team did not respond to 7 News yet. We previously reached out multiple times for Spanberger's stance on bathroom and locker room school policies, and her campaign's response was a general statement that did not answer our specific questions. It said, in part, quote, "The safety of Virginia's kids is Abigail's top priority." Nick Minock, 7 News.
In just 2 days, Loudoun County students go back to school. Then on Monday, it's back to class for students in Arlington and the district.
A lot of people on the roads. Good reminder for all of us to pay attention there in those morning hours. 1 week from today, students in Montgomery and Prince George's counties will be back in class. And of course, 7 News is your back to school headquarters. We've got a full guide of everything you need to know for the return to the classroom, from new rules to changes parents need to know. That is all up right now on our homepage.
Well, today marks 2 full months since an American Airlines jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River. 67 lives were lost, and aviation safety nationwide has since come under major scrutiny as federal officials examine the risks on that fateful night. And in just the past 2 days, 2 more incidents in the DCA airspace that are now under investigation by the FAA. 7 News' Liana Golden is at Reagan National Airport tonight with the latest.
Well, another warning call at DCA, this time between a Delta flight and a U.S. Air Force jet. The FAA says that Delta Flight 2983 was taking off around 3:15 Friday, the same time that 4 military jets were scheduled for a flyover above Arlington National Cemetery. And that's when the collision alerts went off in the Delta cockpit. The Delta Airbus, carrying 131 passengers en route to Minneapolis-St. Paul Friday, was alerted of another aircraft when an Air Force jet was on its way to Arlington National. The FAA says, quote, air traffic controllers issued corrective instructions to both aircraft. The FAA will investigate. Meantime,
Congress must make certain that this loss of life occurs never again.
Questions are swirling on Capitol Hill after a Senate hearing into January 29th's deadly collision and the NTSB's preliminary report.
I want to know how, with these statistics in the FAA files, why prior to January 29th, the agency failed to improve safety protocols at Reagan National Airport.
Senator Jerry Moran is referring to these numbers. More than 15,000 close proximity events from 2021 to 2024 between planes and helicopters near DCA. 85 of those had less than 200 feet of vertical separation.
This has been the hardest 2 months of my life. The hardest day of my life was the 29th.
Tom Lilly was at that hearing. He lost his son to the crash. He says his son's legacy will be to ensure no other family has to go through this kind of pain.
The first thing is we need to update the air traffic control system. We need to get the funding through. We need to get the air traffic controllers fully staffed.
The chair of the NTSB also spoke to reporters. She says they're on track to complete their full report within the year, while sorting through the data takes priority.
For the FAA, they get a lot of safety data, and it's been a conversation for years on the information that they're getting. How are they trending the next big accident? Because, and I'm telling you this now, the next big accident is in the data right now.
Now, we mentioned 2 incidents on the FAA's radar tonight. One is the collision warning. Another is a physical fight between 2 air traffic controllers in the tower. This happened on Thursday, and tonight the FAA tells 7 News that one of those employees is on administrative leave while the incident is under investigation. Reporting from Gravelly Point tonight, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
Well, detectives with the Alexandria Police Department are now trying to figure out exactly what happened. Our Liana Golden is in Alexandria tonight, gathering new details about this investigation.
We're here at Alexandria Police Headquarters. Officers were dispatched to Aber's home about 10 minutes from here Saturday morning, and all new tonight, 7 News got a hold of that dispatch call.
916 Beverly Drive, 916 Beverly Drive.
That's the address first responders were called to Saturday morning in Alexandria. It's where Jessica Aber lived and where she was found dead just before 9:30 a.m.
210 Alpha 211, any additional units are back to assist fire for the cardiac arrest.
Dispatchers referencing a cardiac arrest, though police have not identified how Aber died, only saying they were called to the house for the report of an unresponsive woman.
It's going to be for a 46-year-old female found in bed, unresponsive, not breathing. The caller has refused CPR.
It's unknown who that caller was, and it's important to note Aber was 43 years old, not 46, as referenced in the audio. A friend of the family told ABC News on Sunday that police believe the death was the result of a long-standing medical issue. As the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia for 3 years until resigning in January, Aber oversaw nearly 300 prosecutors and other staff. Joining the office in 2009 as an assistant U.S. attorney, she prosecuted financial fraud, public corruption, violent crime, and child exploitation cases, according to an online biography. It appears she was also involved in major cases involving CIA leaks and Russian fraud schemes. While Alexandria police conduct an investigation into Aber's death, the chief medical examiner's office in Richmond will ultimately determine the cause and manner of how she died. In Alexandria, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
Liana, thank you. As you mentioned, as officials work to determine an official cause of death, lawmakers who knew Aber are expressing their condolences, including the Attorney General Pamela Bondi. She called the loss there on X deeply tragic, and Attorney General Virginia Jason Miara is writing Aber's work of public service and her work with Ceasefire Virginia saved more lives than we may realize. Ceasefire Virginia started as a way to help reduce violent crime and gang activity in the state. During her time as a federal prosecutor, Aber oversaw, again, as Liana mentioned, the case against 2 Russian nationals charged in connection with operating billion-dollar money laundering services. She also helped with a murder conviction of an alleged MS-13 gang member. According to her LinkedIn page, she graduated from the University of Richmond, then got her law degree at William & Mary.
As 2 Smithsonian National Zookeepers landed in the hospital after this bearcat bit them. A spokesperson for the zoo said around 10 this morning, 2 staff members were conducting a routine training session with this 12-year-old bearcat named Lola, and she bit one staffer and wouldn't let go. That's when the other tried to get in there and help, and Lola bit them too. The zookeepers managed to get her back into her enclosure, and the pair went to the hospital, quote, out of an abundance of caution. The zoo says they have non-life-threatening injuries.
Tonight, the head of a big city agency in Alexandria is out.
Yeah, Jasmine Stiles on the alert desk with more details on what's behind this firing. Jasmine?
So Eric Johnson has been on probation since August 27th for moving into one of those units run by the agency meant for lower income residents. The Alexandria Redevelopment and Housing Authority Board says even with this action, the investigation continues to determine, quote, any additional steps needed to ensure transparency and strengthen our governance structures. Johnson had been on the job for less than a year. So now Ricky Maddox, who was the interim CEO before Johnson's hiring, is back at the helm.
And did you see this today? A 12-foot golden statue of President Donald Trump holding a Bitcoin was briefly placed on the National Mall facing Capitol Hill. A group of cryptocurrency investors paid for that temporary installation to provoke a debate about the future of digital currency. We checked tonight, and that statue has since been removed.